All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking your time to come out here to TechTO. So my name is Edward Shim, Managing Director of Studio One Labs. So what Studio One Labs is known for is mainly this piece of fabric. It's not an ordinary fabric, it's actually an electronic device that has computational capability. So yes, we've made a bed sheet where people can simply just lie on the device and it measures their vital signs. We've done 3 clinical trials in Canada, so now we're end up getting ready for production. Tonight's a special night because I want to actually attribute this night for International Day for Women and Girls in Science. Because our company is thank you. Our company is actually built off of majority women that contributed to this, because our company is also known that we've had no money from the beginning, and we raised over $1 million to make all of this possible. So one thing, the reason why I want to attribute this to all the women that we work with is that I'm the most difficult person to work with, and I'll explain a little bit of context. So for me as a child, my mother would get a call in elementary school that I got suspended from school for fighting. A little bit while later, I would end up getting put in the hospital, and then my mom would get a call that I'm in a coma and I might not survive. So after I thought, okay, I have to change my ways a little bit. So I decided, okay, I disappeared for a bit, joined the Canadian Army, came to see my mom saying, oh, sorry, I haven't seen you in a few years. Here's my will, here's the power of attorney. If something happens to me, you'll get an award in my honor. So that's something challenging for my mother to deal with. But then I realized for women, they have that patience and that persistence to be able to take something and be able to build something from it, from my perfect example. So now when I tell my mom that, look, I'm building this technology that can save healthcare costs, my mom's like, okay, as long as you're okay, right? That's all that matters. And the reason why this is important is that elephants are known because it creates a community to build something up where they raise their young. And this is the concept that I want to go about, where all the people that you saw on there contributed to be able to building this whole ecosystem. This ecosystem was able to provide government funding to be able to pay for clinical trials, to advance research, do characterization of our sensors to show that these sensors work better than any other sensor in the market. Not only that, the most important part was that we had different companies that we already planned ahead of time to leverage government grants. Then we ended up actually getting a patent for it. So I saw Benjamin Mack from Rideout and Maybe earlier today. He is the reason why we can go anywhere in the world, talk to the biggest tech giants, and be so damn confident that what we built is better than their technology. And because of that, that's why they became our partners instead of our competitors. So this becomes a whole ecosystem that you're able to build without having to raise money to be able to pay for these costs. Just bring in partners to be able to cover that. So if you think about from Canada's perspective, it's challenging to ask an investor to give you $500,000 to set up manufacturing and production in another country. So what we did was we found partners that ended up paying all that for us. So what we're doing right now is we're transforming healthcare the proper way. Before, I did not know anything about research or any of these aspects or even how to write a grant or publication. I'm actually a university dropout. So my co-founder and I both, we don't have a technology background, but we developed and invented everything by hand. And that was the best part of it. You don't plan tomorrow that you want to end up setting up a business. We plan early. And because of that, and we had a corporation ready, if you have a question, such as an R&D question, you basically get a grant to help cover it. That's the key aspect of it, that if anyone here is aspiring to be able to set up your own business, there's a lot of benefits you can utilize by setting up a company early, such as if you set up a company, you talk to my friend Ben to get a patent, you end up getting the receipt, and you set up an HST account, that 13% of that you end up paying into legal fees pays for your corporation itself. Those are the type of benefits you can leverage by planning early. So it's been 2 years actually that we accomplished all of this. And now we're setting up our production, so by the end of this quarter, we already have our first customer lined up, being able to be supported by a lot of companies globally. So for example, the aging infrastructure for all the networks and servers, we have one of the largest electronics manufacturers that will supply all of Canada cheaper than anyone else. So that opens up the foundation right now. What happens when you lie on a device that you collect a lot of information? It's the technology and all aspects that it benefits, the sensors, the electronics, the data flow, the AI component. The AI, mostly, it's about information that's consistent so that the system can learn based off of your information, not off a general population. So thank you for listening to me tonight. I'm here to be able to provide any support that helps you be able to start your company so that you can end up actually receiving all the benefits. So through a TechTO event, if you want to actually do that, I can show you how to set up a company for $200, and then you can minimal maintenance. And that will get you started so that next year you want to set up a company or set up a project, you can end up getting a government to leverage it. Thank you very much.
It's Alex again. I'm going to jump in with a question again.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Something you touched upon about building an ecosystem. You talked about raising capital from an ecosystem without having to raise from investors. Can you go a bit more into depth how you did that? Because I think a lot of founders, what they initially do is like, I need to go raise money. So tell us a bit more about how you did that and what you meant by that.
Okay, definitely. So one of the things that you want to value mostly is that when you're going to set up a company, what is it that the value that you're going to create? It's not about the potential of what the technology can do. It's about what you can do. Based off of that and the level of confidence, you can end up building out something that you can get enough support of a network. So for example, for us, because of our technology, the patent did help out, but the other component was I spent over 15 trips to Asia in the past 2 years, all fully funded. So that concept becomes, if you're going to go to another place to present the technology you have, you better believe that you're better than everybody else. And because of that, it's going to actually start showing that you are better than everyone else. And based off of that, that's how you're able to actually build everything from the ecosystem supporters without leveraging your own money or other people's money. It's all about resources and value. That's one of the messages I did want to create, is that value outlasts money. Because of that, it's relationships that you end up building that will always be there, even if money runs out. If anyone's nervous to ask questions, feel free to ask me after. Alex is paying for drinks, so I'll be pretty drunk so you can get free consultations all night. Thank you very much.
Let's get a picture.